let's jump in real quick. So there was obvious back and forth, but during these nomination processes, where the Democrats were asking really difficult questions and were pressing them on things, and especially Tulsi Gabbard, I thought they did a masterful job. Schiff made quick work of this dipshit and really cornered him in some odd things that he just couldn't say. It was really peculiar, right? Yeah, Patel's terrible. That's not the point. The point is the senators. Okay, so watch, because again, Trump has signed a legally binding executive order until the Supreme Court finds it illegal, that there can be no weaponization of government. So anybody that feels like they're having the government weaponized against them on our side of the aisle can simply sue on the basis of that EO. I mean, and law, but whatever. But by making it so ham-handed and stupid, he sets himself up for him to actually be sued easier. But I want you to watch because we know the Democrats are going to attack, and so they're kind of prepped for it, and they just kind of run through this pat talk, like they just don't bother to move on these things. But when it comes to, they think it's going to be easy when the Republicans ask them a question. There's been a couple that have been okay. I was surprised at one of them who was just fuck the Jan Sixers really hard, literally. But well, you'll see why I like this. Do you see why I liked Blackburn's? So I'm not going to tell you what the name of this video is, but this is a slice of it. This is her 5 minutes or whatever.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Patel, there is absolutely no doubt that you have the experience and the expertise to lead.
Yeah, there is. Of course, there's doubt. Stupid. If there was no doubt, you wouldn't even need a hearing at all. Of course, there's doubt, dummy. I hate these fucking bloviated. All right, I'll move on.
The FBI, and we welcome you here today. We are pleased that you are here. I've been listening to my colleagues across the dais and listening to their questions, and it has led me to one thing. Why are the Democrats so afraid of you?
Because we value the country and we value the FBI, and we're afraid he will damage it and get people killed. Isn't that a good reason? That he's on the side of insurrectionists, that he was, and that he's posted images of him violently attacking members of Congress. That's enough. They've fucking said so.
I don't know, Senator. You'd have to ask them.
Also, they're not afraid of him. They're disgusted by him, and they think he's unqualified, and that he will, if he runs the FBI, he will harm the organization. That's why. They're not afraid of him in that regard. They are, I think, concerned for the FBI and for the nation as a whole. And the fact that this motherfucker apparently wants to look the other way as serial killers roam the fucking country because it's not their main mission.
Well, I tell you what I think, and listening to their questions and your responses, which we appreciate, they know that you're going to go in and you're going to clean up that political cabal that has been over there for years. You are going to reposition the FBI to its core mission. You stated that earlier in this hearing, and
yeah, of course. And all of Trump's SCOTUS nominees believe that Roe v. Wade was settled law. You do realize there's a reason why we started putting people under oath, dipshit, right? Okay. Now, wait, though. It gets good. Like, this is the point where I'm watching this. This is my reaction when I was watching it the first time. I was like, fuck you, lady. But then she turns. Something magical happens.
There will be no more political persecutions and no more two tiers of justice, and they have.
All right, cool. Excellent. There never have been. So again, easy to clean up a spill that never occurred.
Liked having two tiers of justice. They have enjoyed it. And
well, it's sexy, you know what I mean? It's and it goes with everything, kind of like a black tie, you know what I mean? You can't really screw it up. It's the granimals of justice.
It has helped them. they think in their political mission, they've enjoyed targeting Catholics.
Well, who doesn't? I mean, honestly. What do you mean targeting? Maybe that's the definition. I've met a few Catholics in my time. They seem to be lovely. The former president himself, Joe Biden, who I voted for twice, is Catholic. So, yeah.
Enjoyed targeting parents, but the American people.
Well, not parents. I mean, nobody got targeted because they had kids. I mean, I guess technically these people had to be kids. They had to have kids, beg your pardon. They had to be parents to even be at school board meetings, because what the fuck are you doing here if you don't have any kids in the school, you nutcase? Why are you hanging around a school if you don't have any children?
Have said they want no more of that.
They won't no more. They won't no more. They won't.
And our colleagues know you're going to clean it up. I want to talk to you about the Epstein case. I have worked.
Doge! Ladies and gentlemen, just out of nowhere, just walks right over to the third rail and smashes it with a fucking crowbar. Well done, ma'am. Way to bring up. Like, they have been so trying to avoid this. Like, and you could just, like, you could literally feel in the room, like, because there were, like, on the one I was watching, it was like the C-SPAN one or whatever. It was like, it's like she threw the car in reverse and everybody went, and just hit the dashboard.
Worked on this for years, trying to get those records of who flew on Epstein's plane and who.
Geez, because some of them came out and it showed that Donald Trump flew on his plane a lot more. You know what I would love to see is Donald Trump's flight logs. Wouldn't that be something? Because we know Epstein flew with him sometimes.
Helped him build this international human trafficking, sex trafficking ring. Now, early.
You know what you could? Wait, I could help you there. Maybe, maybe you could interview his neighbors. You know, anybody who, if I may, has never lived more than a 9-minute cab ride from Jeffrey Epstein. That would be Donald Trump.
Earlier, I urged then Chairman Durbin to subpoena those records. And I ended up being blocked by Senator Durbin and
no, you didn't.
For what, Ray? They stopped.
No, you didn't. No. Republicans blocked you, lady. And they're going to again.
Stonewalled on this. And I know that breaking up these trafficking rings is important to President Trump. So will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings?
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do it.
Well, it does have a place, actually, in Florida and Georgia. If you're friends with Matt Gaetz, it shouldn't. I think it should have no place in the. I don't know why I'm Jeff Goldbluming. Maybe it's because of the discomfort of the topic. But if you, I've just been thinking about the fact that Trump was his neighbor and lied about not hanging out with him, not calling him, not talking to him. Because once we got the flight logs, when we got the call logs. Once we got the call logs, we realized that Trump had actually called him almost daily for 3 years after he said they stopped having contact. So
everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past and how we are going to countermand missing children and exploited children going forward.
Great. I love it. Release all of it. Every last page. I don't give a shit if somebody that I like or I used to respect or whatever the fuck is now. Hold on, I'm still looking for this. Why won't it update? Update Notion, you crazy, crazy thing. What's happening? Let's see. Why are you doing this? Yeah, it just won't update for some reason. I apologize. I'll be up on Instagram as soon as it does. I just have to keep checking back on it for it will let me go in there. So.
Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Don't thank me. Thank Donald Trump, actually.
I do want to touch on the political persecution. I find it so interesting that they feel like you would carry out political persecution.
Jeez, I don't know where we got that idea. All the calls for retribution and you being on fucking Steve Bannon's podcast insisting that you would be the chairman of the Retribution Committee? Where'd they get this silly notion?
Parents are with us today. They fled Uganda and persecution from Idi Amin. And I think that with your background and given your family's history, that you would never move to political persecution.
Careful. He's Indian, but if you remind people that he's from Uganda as a child, it might make your colleagues think he's black, which apparently is a line too far at this point.
Is that accurate?
Yes, Senator, that is.
And
real quick, was Timothy McVeigh a patriot until he wasn't? Did Ayn Rand fleeing the oppression of the Soviet Union keep her from taking Social Security and lying that she was married and having her boyfriend on her Social Security listed as her husband, so they both got Social Security? Did that stop her in her beliefs, even though she wrote several books on fuck everybody, charity is a mental defect, religion is a sign of mental incapacitation? Right.
Appreciate that you would remove any kind of 2 tiers of justice from the FBI because they have practiced that every day.
And they never got good at it, apparently,
for years. Not all FBI agents. There are some good ones.
Just some, lady. Some. Did they include the last 2 we lost in the line of duty in fucking Florida, serving papers on a child pornographer? I'm kidding. Why are we even talking about Florida again? I don't even know why it's in the front of my mind.
And we certainly want to keep them, but the politics has got to be moved out of the agency. Now, they've tried to frame you as being anti-police. We've discussed that some today. And I know that you grew up working.
Yeah, the whole part about like you siding with the Jan 6ers over the Capitol Police, wanting to dismantle the entire FBI. I mean, it just sounds like you don't want anybody looking anywhere.
With NYPD officers in your community. And I know that law enforcement groups, including the National Association of Police Organizations, have endorsed your nomination. And on top of that, your brother is a law enforcement officer. Is that accurate?
Many of my family are, yes, Senator.
How many?
Right, but that doesn't mean they're cops, or they might be in areas where you don't think it's going to bother you. You don't have a problem. Like, understand, these assholes don't have a problem with, like, Texas fucking state troopers, racially profiling people and pulling them over. He's not running to be local law enforcement. He's running to be the head of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Of your family, sir?
Well, I guess the Indians have a different definition of family. We got a really big one, and they're all family.
We all love big families.
So we got a lot.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Indians have a different idea of what family is? No, you don't. You have biological family, extended family, and then you have close friends you consider family. That's not unique. You weirdo.
I appreciate that. But it is accurate to say that in your role, you're going to do everything that you possibly can to protect the men and women who are protecting our communities.
That is of the utmost importance.
Yeah, but define protecting our communities. Brooming any immigrant that isn't rich? I mean, let's start there. Is that protecting our communities? Is it protecting our communities to stop a woman who's crossing the border of a state that doesn't allow abortions to save her own life because she has an ectopic pregnancy and the hospitals there won't serve her, so her family is driving her across state lines? Is that protecting the community? Because if you think that, that's fucked. Again, these generic phrases don't mean anything.
Thank you. I want to go to the Nunes memo. You were the principal author of the Nunes memo. Is that accurate?
Yes, me and staff.
Thank you. And
All right. Also, he's talking about the Nunes memo in terms of the investigations into Trump, not all the myriad of stupid memos that Devin Nunes has written in his time working at Truth Sinkhole.
that did really so much to focus the light on the Russiagate hoax and the political cabal that was for years operated out of the DOJ and the FBI.
No, it didn't.
And I know that there are...
It made baseless accusations against members of the FBI and used phrases out of context to make it look like they were planning to take Trump down by faking evidence, which was not the case at all.
Are some that felt like that memo was not accurate. We know now
Yeah, I would be one of those people, and I still stand by it.
differently. And
no, you don't.
And I'm quoting a comment that was made about that memo and by a member of that House Intel Committee, and I quote, "It was meant only to give Republican House members a distorted view of the FBI."
Yeah, and it worked. And people wonder why people have a shit view of the FBI right now. It's not because of what they've done. It's because Donald Trump and people like Kash Patel and Marsha Blackburn and all of her colleagues, and Kennedy, who's sitting right there behind her, have made it their express goal to undermine the credibility of the FBI to protect Donald Trump.
End quote. I find it so interesting. They use the term distorted view.
Well, I find it interesting, too, because I'm interested in the truth.
I think the American people who for 4 years under Biden saw the FBI weaponized against them, against
Really?
parents, against people.
Just parents. I'm a parent. Did the FBI had like Operation No Kids or something?
Of faith, weaponized.
Just people of faith. I have faith that there are erections in my future. You don't know it for a fact, but you think so, and I consider that to be an aspect of my faith.
Against President Trump. I think they would disagree with that. Do you stand by the good work that you did on the Nunes memo?
The good work? Sure. You mean like the punctuation or?
Our team, and yes, absolutely.
And the Nunes memo was accurate in its description of the details, correct?
As confirmed by the Inspector General, the Special Counsel, because the Nunes memo only contained sworn information received pursuant to transcribed interviews and production of government materials, including FBI 302s and DOJ memorandum.
So the
Right, but and excluding any exculpatory or conflicting material.
The Nunes memo is accurate.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So let's just say, for example, I say under oath, the sky is blue and red and green and is full of dragons and smells like fresh baked bread, and the clouds are made out of cotton spiders. And you take the part where I said the sky is blue, and you're like, his statement was truthful, Your Honor. I ask everyone here, is the sky indeed not blue? Right? So that's how you take a statement of testimony, use part of it, and say the part that we put in our report was true. It's a little silly. Like, are we're just supposed to act like this is fucking 1975 and everybody's on equal terms with the truth?
Thank you for that. In your new role as director,
welcome.
how will you work to root out two tiers of justice at the FBI?
Well, I'll first identify it as not existing, and then I'll go, well, that was awesome. Who wants to go get a beer?
The same way I have always done so, ma'am, with the utmost fidelity to the Constitution and integrity to law enforcement. Government must allow those who are privileged to serve to execute their law enforcement duties fully, but at the same time, the American people deserve accountability inwards to government, to any of those who violate that sacred trust.
And
Awesome, and I appreciate the Sanders aide that initially wrote those words that you borrowed from someplace so that you could hump through this. But I gotta tell you, like, that doesn't tell us anything.
as you prepare to take this new role, what are the top areas of concern for you as we look at our national security?
Immigrants that come here to terrorize and come out from insane asylums, and not at all using the FBI to track women going across borders.
The top areas when it comes to national security, ma'am, have remained unchanged, and the threat dynamic has increased. It's thwarting terrorist activities and terrorist attacks here and overseas against our citizens and our allies, and it also includes CCP espionage, which is running rampant these last 5 years through our country, including our cyber infrastructure and our agricultural properties, and it also includes taking on Iran.
Sorry, 5 years? So Trump signed off on this stuff? Is this he lit this bomb and you've gotta cut the wick before it reaches the, all right.
The number one state sponsor of terror and any other adversary that wishes to harm America.
Thank you.
So serial killers, gun running, sex trafficking, interstate, sexual assault, that kind of stuff. You're just not going to bother with that anymore? Child predators? I mean, it would mean releasing the Epstein files, so.
I look forward to a yes vote on your confirmation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I think Durbin pushes back on what she said.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Because here's the thing. She brought up during that hearing that they cut her off. And Durbin brings up the point, rightly so, that the reason she was cut off from whatever Epstein shit she was doing was because they had gone over the 2 hours of their questioning period or whatever they were doing in committee, and Republicans interrupted her and insisted that since they were over 2 hours, it had to stop. And when you put apparently when you enact the 2 hour rule, it takes the gavel out of the chairman's hand and everybody can leave because it keeps you from missing votes and stuff. So there's to keep senators from being withheld from the voting process by dragging out hearings that are for in committee where they have to vote on something or listen to testimony by guaranteeing a stoppage point. You can keep whoever the ruling party who's in charge of the committee from dragging it out so that the minority misses votes, right? So that's a rule that exists. And the Republicans were fine with going over until Senator Blackburn brought up the Epstein files, and then the Republicans on the committee invoked the 2 hour rule and shut down the committee hearing she was in. She specifically, and she blames Durbin for it, but it's really fucking telling that it was the Republicans who were fine with being 20, 25 minutes over up until she brought that up. And then they're like, hey, it's been 2 hours. Fuck that. Nope. Call it off. We don't have to ask for a regular order. It's been over 2 hours. Gone. That's what they literally cut it off at that point. So fucking on the nose. So telling.